Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you probably know, Asmongold had a very interesting video uploaded about Star Citizen. There it is, Star Citizen 48,000 DLC. And he interviewed, or basically talked, chat with a couple of, well, here it says Super Whale. I have no idea what a Super Whale is. Maybe someone that spent a bunch of money. But it was quite interesting. There's a couple points I'd like to go through. I don't know exactly how this came to be. Keep in mind, this channel, this is not my main channel. I have a couple other YouTube channels. I've been doing YouTube for many years. One of my other two channels, one has 80,000 subscribers, the other one 230. I talk about survival preparedness. That's what I've been doing for a long time now. But I do know a little bit about how these things usually work, especially with bigger channels. And yeah, some of these shadow marketing things of promoting things and just sliding it in there as a informal conversation. It would not be the first time that something like this happens. I'm not saying this is what's going on here. Asmongold seems to be a pretty honest guy based on what I've seen, and I've seen some of his videos way before this. He seems okay, and he has an interesting opinion on things. But this kind of dealings only people involved actually know of. I'm not saying this is what's happening or not, but I still found the conversation to be quite interesting. So let's go through some of the more interesting points, shall we?
The reward of the game. So what is really what's the point of the game? Like, what do you do?
Have the same mount.
Yeah.
The reward of the game, it's like GTA. When you get with a whole bunch of friends in GTA and you go rob a bank, and there's events like that where you go, there's like a drug running.
This guy, the guy he's talking with is the worst kind of fanboy, the most deranged, crazy people in the community. You dare compare Star Citizen with GTA? How fucking dare you? GTA is one of the best video games ever made. You have stories, you have missions, you have RPG elements, you have dialogues. Not just someone, there's entire teams of very creative, smart people that scripted all of this stuff. You have no idea what you're talking about comparing Star Citizen with GTA. Even GTA Online, a game I played a lot actually, it's completely different. It's nothing like GTA. If he means like in terms of being sandbox, man, a sandbox usually includes certain elements that Star Citizen is completely lacking. There's no progression. There's no specific things that you can work on long term in Star Citizen. That's one of the greater things that Star Citizen has for us as content creators or semi-professional bullshitters with a camera. Is that super easy to talk about nothing at all and waste no time, because unlike other games in which you do go on missions and things that take half an hour or an hour long, there's none of that here. So no, this is not GTA 5 or... Wait, did he say GTA 6? Anyway.
Facility, right? And there's a bunch of people that want to take over. And your guys want to take it over. It's called like a Jumptown mission. Bed Banana has a great video on it, The War for Jumptown. It's like one of their most famous, like, player playing the game videos. Bed Bananas Jumptown, great video. Well, when you watch it, and this is like an old video, it's just a bunch of player versus player action, and these guys got basically nothing. They basically like ganked everybody, took their stuff, blew up their equipment. It was crazy, but because it's basically an FPS and skill matters a lot more than what ship you have, the game becomes like this thing where the money doesn't matter. If you have a lot of money, you can jump in the game faster. That's not going to make you better.
Yeah, kind of bullshit, especially now with master modes. I will say this, it used to be that way. It used to be that the guy with the Aurora, with the $45 Aurora, if he knew how to use it well, yeah, he would beat you. Now that's no longer the case. Now, with master modes, basically you are first of all, the time to kill has been extended a whole lot more. You're like flying in mustard. You're just floating in jello, and it becomes about exchanging DPS and shield damage, right? So no, it's not like that, not nearly as much as it used to be. It used to be a lot more skill based. It has been turned into something very different from that.
Okay.
And it's really, really hard to impress people with buying a fancy paint or something because they got your same ship and they can do the same stuff.
So,
it's like, oh, your paint looks real nice on the ship you had. I just exploded.
So what would you say to people that say Star Citizen is a scam?
Well, I'd say you need to worry about your pocket instead of other people's money. Because why are you worried about what other people do with their money? Are you picketing at Vegas because Vegas is taking $10 and $20,000 from people?
That is not that is not an answer to the question. Again, we're not looking at a guy. He's not talking with the brightest mind, but that's not the explanation. It's not a scam, and I would say it's not a scam. It is very scam-y. It's very scam-like, especially the marketing, which is very deceiving, very dishonest. The marketing, the advertising, that's super dishonest, but it's not really a scam. A scam would be something in which you're not really getting anything in exchange for what you're paying. A scam would be you paying for something that is promising to deliver a game one day and you cannot actually play it, right? You pay for something and you cannot actually play it. The part of very scammy in terms of the concept ships, so you're paying for something that's not going to come out in years, that is super scammy, but not really a scam because they are honest about, we make no promise of when you will get any of this. You get no promise in terms of when the game will ever be delivered or not. You get no promise in terms of the concept ships. So I find it a lot more scam-like in terms of how they constantly tease with the idea of the new thing coming out when nothing really new comes out in years. That is very scammy. But you cannot say that it's a scam. Legally speaking, most of the world, a scam is very much illegal, lands you in jail, gets you thrown in prison, and you have to pay the people you ripped off. So scam, no. Scam-y, scam-ish, yes.
At the table, you mad about who spends on game? Why aren't you picking in at Vegas? They got an unfair advantage. Is that a scam?
Yes.
Why am I worried about a guy that spends $48,000?
Gambling is not a scam, but it's an addiction. It's really not something that it's not a favorable comparison. There is a little bit of the addiction thing. I mean, I just did the video on my little investment in this nonsense. It is quite addicting. The idea of just click on buying some crap. And the worst part, at least for me, is not just what money you spend or don't spend. Honestly, the worst part is that I fully know and understand that the more money you give them while promoting, while focusing on this marketing strategy, the worse it is for the game. You are part of the problem. The more money you give Star Citizen, the more of a problem you create in terms of there's no incentive of any kind to do anything other than keep on doing what has been working all along and what keeps working so beautifully well in terms of the business model, which is just focus on the ship sales, focus on marketing and promoting nothing that you're not really working on. And yes, the man-hour goes into new ships to sell because people will keep on buying it. That is really the bigger problem. But it's not a favorable comparison to, oh yeah, this is like Vegas, meaning we take advantage of some of the more weak, easily addicted people that we have available.
Especially if I can get that same amount of ships for $45. Why? And that's half the price of most games right now. Because
do that anymore. You will not get the same amount of ships with your $45. It's again, it used to be a lot more like that. It's really not honest. It's not an honest thing to say anymore, especially not now with ship prices going up 5%, 5 times more or more, and the amount of money you make in game being a shadow of what it used to be. You're making it's 5 times more expensive to buy ships in games, and you're making maybe 3 to 4 times less money than you used to make before. I'm not talking about any bug. No, I'm talking about actually going out there. Fuck, it's easily 10 times less money than you did before. You used to be able to go out there and do a high-level beacon mission with a Corsair, which I've done plenty of. 5 minutes, 230k in 5 minutes, and you could even do a little bit of grinding on that. So that is all gone. That is easily 10 times less money being made than before. And for a lot of people, oh, but I play all day because I have nothing else to do in my life. Great. That is not the case for most people. Most people will not be able to buy any of that stuff unless they actually go and spend real money, which was always the idea with these changes that they implemented.
Most games right now are like $70.
It's getting
bucks
more.
if you wanna be exclusive.
130. Yep, absolutely.
That's also true.
So why am I worried about these people? Why am I worried about these whales? Why am I crying to the heavens? Oh no, the poor whales. I don't care about these people. I'm not worried about. They're probably rich. They're probably happy.
No.
They probably got a nice family, and they spent this. They spent on this instead of the tables at Vegas. And if you got a problem with spending, you need to see your doctor.
Ain't that a...
I will say that spend your money any way you want. Spend your money in Vegas gambling. I think that's a fucking horrible addiction. That's the main problem I see. At least for me, it's not about the money. It's about how nasty and disgusting and toxic of an addiction it is to gamble. I never gambled a single cent in my life ever. Nothing. I don't smoke either. Never did drugs. I try to avoid any kind of those typical things. Are people addicted to shopping? Maybe. Yeah, that's something that a lot of people, the addiction of clicking on the little basket thing and buying, the addiction that they obviously work here with for Star Citizen, the idea of, oh, but it's just $5 more. It's yeah, sure. And it's also about making things look good and promoting the crap out of things. Oh, this new... Yes, that's the business. That's how they make their money. Can you blame them for that? No, you can't. Personally, the only thing I do call them on is, dude, do a little bit more for us. Do some actual content for us to enjoy. I get that you want to make money, but for fuck's sake, just 5-10% more invested into actually making new content for players to actually play. That would be nice. So it's really not all that much that we're asking for, or at least that I'm asking for. That's why I'm still sticking around, because I think that the change that many of us want is not all that fucking big. It's just a little bit more of compassion and giving a fuck about players, backers, whatever you want to call them, or us, right? So it's not that massive change that is needed. Still, it would be nice if it happened.
Ain't that a fucking fact? So you think that the people that are complaining about Star Citizen are totally fucking delusional?
A lot of the people complaining aren't the people spending.
So they're just complaining for the sake of complaining. Like,
I bet a lot of people that complain about your opinion are...
Yeah, he's a fucking idiot. No, a lot of people that are complaining... I mean, yeah, sure, you probably have people that... But what? No, people complaining about something they're not invested in, they never spend a single buck. No, people that are complaining are usually the ones playing it. Go to fucking Spectrum. Everyone there had to buy something at some point, and you see that the enormous majority of people are not happy with, especially with Master Modes. Fuck no, people are not happy with. My example, yeah, I would be someone that's been here for a few years now, and I did my own mistake now that I see in terms of, giving more to promote something that is quite opposed to the final goal that we want, which is more gameplay. You don't have to give them the more every cent you give them is an extra cent that goes towards not making the game. As ironic and contradictory as it sounds, that's simply the way it is because of the model that they're working on. The model that they're working on is just maximizing monetization and not new game content. So the more you promote that, the worse it is in terms of having more to play. But it's not true that people complaining or calling them out on their shit, which would be a lot more of an accurate description, haven't bought anything. That is pure bullshit.
On a game they never played.
I bet that's true. I agree with you.
It's not true.
Holy shit.
I bet there's a lot of people in the chat very angry about the guy who spent $48,000, but they never played this game. They never saw it till today, but they're fuming. They're very angry. How dare that guy give his money?
What is the most amount of money that you've heard that somebody has spent on Star Citizen?
Well, I just saw that there's a 48,000 Legatus pack, so I'm guessing that's a thing. But, I mean, what's the most amount of money you heard somebody spent at the tables at Vegas? Are we mad at them?
Fucking comparing with gambling. Yes, people lose millions of dollars in gambling. Why are you comparing it? I think I've heard of someone that spent $100,000 buying multiples of whatever crap it is. Yes, there's people with a lot more money than common sense, I guess. But keep in mind that for someone that is very wealthy, maybe it's really not that much of a big deal.
How many did they spend on the ponies?
Yeah, it's dumb, but like, they're gonna do what they're gonna do with their own money, right? I know one guy, I actually know two guys that really spend a lot of money on gambling, and so yeah, I understand it really well.
But do you judge them, or are you like, hey, it's your money?
Well, I do. I think it's a bad idea. I don't think I mean, I'm not saying like I do think it's a bad idea. Like I do have an opinion about it. I do think that it's
unhealthy.
It's dumb. I think it's dumb. But it's their money. They can do what they want with it. I see where you're coming from, and
that's where I disagree with Asmongold. It's not just it's your money. For people that it is an addiction. I mean, some people lose everything, and I mean every fucking thing because of their addiction to gambling. So it's not just about, I have an opinion of thinking that it's dumb. No, it's not an opinion. It's a fact that it's a known addiction that can be extremely harmful. So if someone enjoys spending X amount of money depending on their budget and gambling and that's my fun, okay, I don't agree. I don't see it the same way, but you have to acknowledge that it's also a very fucking serious addiction for a lot of people.
Yeah, like I am judgmental. I am a judgmental person. However, I understand that my judgments are subjective.
Okay, but like imagine you could get all that stuff for free. Or like for $45.
Right.
And you get the same stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, at some point, you're just...
No, again, for most people, you will not. If you're playing all damn day long, right, and you start with your $45 Aurora, and you're on a retired 70-year-old guy that has and you have no family, you have no kids, you have nothing, you have no life, I guess you could. Again, it's gonna be a lot more difficult than before. Before, you could buy every fucking thing with your Aurora. With a salvage ship back when you were getting 250K per hammerhead, making millions, hand over. Yeah, sure, but that is not the case anymore. Things have changed, and no, you're not gonna be buying on. You're not gonna be buying an A90 jump starting off with your Aurora. At least not most people. That's one of the things that a lot of these dumbasses, and I'm talking about the guy he's talking with, some of these people, they don't understand that their reality is not. I've come across people, and I'm talking about even when it was easier to make money, that no, I'm barely capable of buying a Cuddy Blacking game because I just play a couple hours a week. I don't have all day long for this. I have a real job, and those are the people that once they kind of get a taste of it, they will say, yeah, sure, a couple $100 on a Taurus. Sure, yeah, it's a nice ship. it will allow me to enjoy the game more, and it's just 200 bucks. Why not? And that's what they're counting on, and that's why they made the changes that they made. Make it super difficult to make money in game, make it very expensive to buy ships in game. And when people start talking about this being a space sim, you have to be very damn stupid. There's nothing sim like here. I mean, if this was a real sim, you would be able to just sell the ships you bought. You bought it in game, you sell it in game in the same realtor, like you do in the real world with cars and basically anything else that you buy. A vehicle that is very expensive, sure, you can sell it at 50%, 70% of the original price, whatever, but you can sell stuff. This is obviously not the intention here. So the idea of, oh, it's a simulation. No, it's not. It's something that is promoted as such, but that simulation ends in the moment in which it could affect their sales in terms of real money.
Donating to the cause. At some point, you're giving the 48,000 because you just want to see the finished game.
Yeah.
Oh yes, he is a
Do
fucking...
you think that, like, I mean, they've made 7...
He is a damn idiot. This guy thinks that you giving them $48,000 will make Chris Roberts want to finish the game now, sooner? Why? There's no logic to that. If with the unfinished game people keep on giving me more money, why the holy fuck would I just say one day, we're done guys here, we don't need any more money, we don't want any more money, we have no excuse to keep on promoting brutal, savage sales tactics every couple weeks. No, there's no business in Star Citizen with a finished game, with a game that's, yeah, that we are done. We've done it. Now we just do little upgrades and DLCs, but the game itself is finished, right? Everyone understands that nothing here will end forever, right? The moment in which they say, the game is done. You would expect them to, even with I was listening to this interview from Todd Howard with Mr. Maddie, I think, the channel, and that would be a great example of, these companies, they keep on building upon the game that they've already released. Now, that's a very different model from what Star Citizen is doing from CIG, but I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about their business model being, this thing is never finished, no matter what way you want to cut it. That's how you keep on going with it. The sales, but to be so damn stupid to think that the more money you give them, the sooner you will see a game release. You've already given them $700 million when they said that with a tenth of that they should have been able to finish the game. In their own words, you gave them $700 million and you still have one system and there's no end to this in sight. You have to be pretty damn stupid to not understand that it's not about giving them more money to finish the game.
700
probably is the exact opposite. Maybe if there's less money coming in, they will go like, hell, we better hurry and finish this thing and get something else going.
$1 million.
That's not enough money.
How much do you think would be enough money?
Well, let's see. How much does it cost to pay the developers for all these years, plus the cost of AWS servers?
Oh, he's
plus
so
you're having
stupid.
800 people to shard, plus you got to pay utilities and taxes in 5 countries, right? So, I mean, when you start adding up, and you don't got a AAA backing, but you also...
Asmongold is a pretty polite guy. He's just laughing. Okay, so $700 million was not enough when they said it was way more than enough. And they've said many times that they have enough money to finish the game. So that's all crap. So how much? $2 billion? How fucking more money do you need to finish this thing?
Don't have to talk to the shareholders and push it out the door, right? You don't have to put it out and release it. Right, you see that? You can get a $45 pack right now and play. People will just send you money. People will just send you $1 million because you can exchange credits like right on there.
Yeah, he said dollars. No one's gonna send you $1 million. They're gonna be sending you 1 million Alpha USC. And here the guy is actually right in terms of, first of all, you can play for $45. That's always something I mention all the time. If you just want to try it out, go start playing with $45. I would say that even now more than ever, the Titan for $60 or so makes a lot more sense because it's much better and it's not how things used to be anymore. It's also true what he said about if you ask people, they will give you money in game. Yeah, I did that many times just to fuck around, even having more than enough, but just to see what people do. Some people will give you 1 mil, 500K all day long. That is also true. It's usually a lot more true when there's a lot more money floating around in the community. Now maybe not so much, but yeah, people can be quite generous, at least at times when there's money
and people
around.
just give away. They're like, hey, let's do a mission together. And we do a mission together, and I've made a lot of money, so I'll just give you a whole bunch of in-game credit.
So you can just you can give another player credits in the game.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
As much as you want from what you earned.
Wow. So, and I think that you bring up a good point. I looked this up for a frame of reference, and I'm hearing in chat that Genshin Impact is between $100 and $200 million a year to develop. So if you use that argumentation, and I bet the servers for Star Citizen are probably more in depth than Genshin Impact, then $700 million is in fact not enough.
It's the worst scam ever. He's spending all the money on the game.
Right. And
it's not. One of the things that is the most questionable is, again, the guy is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. One of the amount of money being spent in themselves. First of all, the people and the Chris Roberts and family and so on, they give themselves huge salaries, which it's their company. You can do that perfectly well. The thing that's something that has been brought up because in many of these type of companies, especially with a game that's not even yet delivered, usually they tend to be a little bit more conservative in terms of how much of a AAA rated director game company kind of wage you give yourself when you still haven't even finished the game that people are giving you the money for. So that's a little bit of a question mark there. But hey, you do you. The only thing that is the amount of real estate that apparently they have bought with no need whatsoever. Oh, but you need a building to make a game. Usually office space is rented, right? When you start buying buildings in different countries, you're investing in real estate. You're not making a video game. That is something that caught my attention quite a bit because I see what you're doing there, man. You're capitalizing on real estate when you say you're making a video game, but spending the money on buildings. If you really just want to focus on doing the video game, maybe have a little bit of office space, maybe some small building or office, and the rest that you need, you rent it. Companies mostly rent entire buildings, banks. I'm talking about huge financial institutions. You rent a lot of it instead of buying it. When you buy it, it's because you want to invest in real estate. And that's usually what you do if you just want to get ready in case of, if things don't really work out all that great, I still have the building. If I have to liquidate things, I still have that. If I arrange things in a certain manner, that's something I can actually keep while everything else goes wherever.
So when do you think that people will, when do you think that I'm thinking the way to put it, the stereotype and the bias that people have against Star Citizen, when do you think that will finally stop and people will see, oh my god, this actually is this really good game? Because
when will the normies come?
Well, real quick,
Normies,
I
what a
saw the
fucking loser.
Squadron 42 stuff, and in my comments, a lot of people might have just bought that $45 pack. They were very, very enthusiastic about it. They liked it a lot, especially with that tech demo they showed. That was fucking crazy.
All of that stuff that he's talking about, that's the marketing. CIG is the best in the business with this sort of thing of creating hype, talking about, even what I'm doing right now, just some guy will click on it. Oh, that is, let me just check it. So for $45, I can getting it. Yeah, and it works, and it's true. It's true that for $45 you get in. The rest of the thing, that's where the adult mentality has to kick in. And no, don't be a dumbass. Don't do what many of us ended up doing, which is, yeah, it's a few bucks here and there. When you realize it, that's kind of stupid. You end up doing something that goes against what you really want, which is seeing a greater amount of new content for you to play, which you're not promoting because you're just promoting the same old marketing strategy that is working so fine. So both things are true at the same time. It's just a matter of you being extremely cautious and then eventually coming to your senses in terms of, we have to make more game. We have to make more new content.
Thing about the $45 pack, all right? There was a vote. They lost the vote.
Right.
They fucking
so they have to
vote.
wait. That's how democracy works, right? They said, look, a majority of backers.
The guy is so stupid. How sad it must be to be so fucking dumb. Democracy, it's a company. There's no democracy here. You think you have a say on what Amazon does or Coca-Cola or anything that is privately held? This is fucking Chris Roberts' company. And whatever investors and shareholders, whatever, it's a privately held company. You have no democracy, no say here. This thing about the vote, guys, do you want us to finish the game or do you want us to keep on making this awesome? That is pure bullshit. First of all, what kind of vote and who exactly controlled what people voted for or not? You have no damn clue what actually went down. I will tell you that the only thing that decided what they would do was them. They made all of this bullshit vote thing, and then they decide what they want to do. You think you're going to be taking control of Chris Roberts' business because you voted, because you said this or that? Are you that fucking dumb? Really? No, Chris Roberts decide for himself what he wanted to do, and I think that's great. It's a little bit dishonest to make some dumbasses like this gentleman here think that we voted and we decided. So my question is, do you want me to make this awesome? And yeah, sure, yes, keep on doing things awesome. That would be great. Or do you want us to finish and just, I will deliver this right now? Depends on how you present the question. And at the same time, if you voted for that, are you really getting that? Have you got any awesome new content in these last 3-4 years? No, there isn't anything that's new. Certainly not in the last 3 years. Nothing really new in the last 3 years. That's what you voted for? That's the democracy you think you have? God damn it, man.
We could stop right now and just work on your campaign mode. Is that what you want, or do you want this MMO to go to the moon?
Right.
And everybody, like the great majority of us said, we don't want to play a campaign mode for 2 months and forget it. We want to play an MMO for a real long time.
Right.
And the campaign is still being made. That's Squadron 42. Not only is the campaign still being made, there's something that a lot of people don't even realize is once the campaign does come out, and I don't know if there's something with Microsoft going on, but you don't even have that unless you actually bought it, which a lot of people didn't buy it. A lot of people think that you're giving them money to make Star Citizen when they're actually... one of the scammier aspects of CIG and as a whole is you're giving them money, you're pledging money to make a game that you will not actually get. You're giving them money and they're using that money to make Squadron 42, but you don't get Squadron 42 no matter how much money you gave them unless you actually go and buy separately Squadron 42, which by the way I think they brought out of the market probably because they plan on selling it for $100. So in spite of you giving them $100 or $1,000 or $10,000, doesn't matter. The day Squadron 42 comes out, you will still have to buy the game separately because this very scammy, very questionable aspect of the money you gave us to make the game, that does not mean you actually get the game when it's out, which is kind of fucked up. But hey, I guess they have their lawyers and they said it's okay.
And so, like, in case anybody doesn't remember, this is a video I'm playing on the stream now. This is all completely seamless transitions, right? Obviously, the wormhole is probably some form of, like, rendering, but
That's
other
pyro.
than that, this entire thing is completely seamless with no loading screens whatsoever. It's all in-engine. So, when do you think that's going to happen, where people finally finally understand that this game is actually a real game? Because
that was the meshing test.
The
right?
meshing
that
test,
was
yes.
the technology that makes this happen.
Right.
That's supposed to be coming in November.
Okay.
Right? And then they keep adding like star systems.
Right.
Right. But like the basic technology, when it goes from alpha to beta, like we're just doing polish, we can add DLC planets, and you don't have to pay for other planets. Once you pay the base 45, you're in. Like what could happen is, like, to get into the MMO, you may have to pay more later.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, you get in for $45. You're not gonna get kicked when the MMO goes like a beta or release. You're not getting kicked.
You have no damn idea if you get kicked or not, if you have to pay a subscription. You're just talking out of your ass. This man has no fucking clue what they plan on doing. If once they're done, they say, yeah, I mean, we're done with the game. We're done with the game. We made it. We released Star Citizen. Now you have to pay a subscription to play, like any other MMO, because we need to finance this thing. We need to finance this game. You will have to pay a monthly fee of whatever. You think you have any legal standing to say, no, but I own my Carrack. I paid $1,000 for it. I have the right to keep on playing forever for free. No, that's not how any of this works. You will be told that, no, that was then. Now you have to pay, and if not, you just keep your Carrack in a universe you have no access to. That's how this will work.
Like you say, and there's another thing that was said about LTI, lifetime insurance. That's like, you can claim it. No one's gonna take away your ship. You're gonna have insurance on it. Because what they do is, like, you can fix your ship, but if your ship explodes, you can claim it. So there's like an insurance thing. So you could do insurance by, like, paying in-game credits, or just like have it LTI in the game for, like, I don't know, whatever amount of times. It's like a little credit sink that people that like to pay extra cash so they don't have to go through that can pay. And hey, there's something to be said about saving time. If you got a nice job and you got a family and you got to pay that money so you don't have to grind, well, you know what? The game don't play itself. But if you want to skip a little and you got the money, that's on you. Right?
So you've been talking pretty positively about this game. There's some people in chat that think that you are a paid developer. Do you have any sort of financial relationship or any employment, anything like that relates you at all to development team in any capacity, in any way? Are you able to make any money if the game does well, or anything? Nothing at all whatsoever.
Nothing. I play the game every day.
Okay.
That is true. I do get more hours of entertainment out of it than I would a Netflix subscription.
Right.
But I have the choice of not paying anything a month. Or maybe getting a skin because I want to, like, you know, pitch in or whatever. You know, it's like optional. Like, you pay $45. Everything else, that's optional. You paid because you wanted to. Don't put a gun to your head. No one limited what you could get more than a patch or two. Right? You could just get it in game. It's up to you. Right?
I guess so.
What I would say is just play it. Just pay the $45 and just try it. I mean, it's only $45.
So
there's gonna be some glitches, but you got to see it like this is GTA in space.
GTA in space again.
So you think that the majority of the people that are complaining about Star Citizen are stupid and delusional, or they don't understand it?
No. I believe there's a lot of different types of people. There's a segment that's mad about everything.
Yes.
And anything that costs money, they hate it because they hate spending, and they think everything should just be provided.
What are we talking
about? there's people that is their whole philosophy.
Right.
And they get mad at any game that allows players to spend a lot.
Yes.
Right?
No, he's absolutely. There's a lot of people that are mad about the trend in video games in general, which is you go and pay $100 and you get the magic bullshit sword that allows you to beat a guy that has been playing that game for a much longer time, just because the pay to win thing. That's what pisses people off. And what pisses a lot of people off is the extreme greed in many games of, for every damn little thing you have to pay money. The trend that came from cell phones of, if you don't want to wait, you have to pay. If you don't, and everything is about pay to win. That's what pisses most people off. And then, yeah, you may have a dumbass that, oh, I have to pay, so I actually have, yes, yeah. If you want to have access to something that took money to make, yeah, you probably will have to pay. That is a completely different thing. But most people, when we're talking about non-idiotic propositions, it's more about that than, oh, I have to pay money so I have to play a game. Yeah.
Correct.
There's a few of them, right, that think that this is predatory, right? That these people aren't adults with their own money, that they're somehow victims. Like Chris Roberts went to their house and put a gun against their head and said, give it.
No, that's two different things. Predatory means that they focus only on making money. And yeah, that is a big fucking issue, because that's one of the main problems is that it's predatory in terms of marketing. And yes, as an adult, you should be able to resist that. But when they take it to a point where they don't allow you to do anything other than just buy shit with real money, because buying anything in game is impossibly expensive, then that's kind of fucked up. And it is very real, and it is happening. And a lot of people don't like that. But what I would say is the most common complaint is you're not doing much other than having new ships to sell. You're not doing much new content. Whatever you've been changing is not better, it's worse. Case in point, master modes. That's what most people are pissed about. Personally, I'm super pissed with master modes. It sucks, and it has ruined a lot of the enjoyment of the game. I was just Spectrum is constantly talking about this. Oh, everyone in Spectrum is an idiot. No, 70% of the posts you see are about how terrible the game has become since 3.23. I'm giving you that number because I counted it, right? I counted it before and I counted it yet again. 70%. 7 out of 10 posts you see are about people pissed with something that came with 3.23. So it's not everyone being unreasonable. In fact, it's the opposite.
The money, right? But if like you're addicted to Fent, it's your fault for being an addict. I mean,
there it is. You shouldn't have done it.
You can't blame the Fent.
Right. I get it. Okay, that makes sense. So you think that basically if people are doing that, they're letting it happen for themselves. Okay, got it.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, go ahead.
There's people that are very bitter about campaign mode because they lost that vote. And when they lost that vote, their estimate was that the game was going to be about 3 or 4 years after they vote. Right. And they don't care about campaign mode. They want they don't care about the MMO mode. Yeah. They want a nice little campaign mode.
Who looks forward to Squadron 42?
They don't want to interact with anybody.
No.
And it's just, they hate the whole concept of like perhaps PvP, danger. I might lose my stuff. Oh my God, I might get robbed on the high seas of space.
If that's something that bothers you, you don't play Star Citizen. If losing your shit because you die, and you die constantly, it's not PvP, you never get PvP. Very rarely someone comes along, starts shooting at you. Happens, but no comparison with the amount of times you die because of bugs. So if that pisses you off, again, the man is an idiot. Most times you die because of bugs or something broken with a game, not because of PvP.
They hate that concept.
And so they lost the vote.
There are other people upset about the bugs. They're like, we want stability.
Right.
We want stability. We've been playing a while. We want stability. And those people I understand the most because I want stability too. But that tech was demonstrated in that 800 player example that they just did the test. So I'm like a little bit more patient about it. Like there are legitimate reasons to be mad, even though I don't agree with them. I can understand them.
So you don't want Star Citizen to actually release. You want it to just be continuously developed.
Oh, the MMO.
Right, yeah, the MMO.
I want the campaign mode to release.
Yeah, Squadron
and maybe
42
have,
or
like,
whatever, yeah.
sequels.
For sure, yeah, 100%. I think people are on board with that. Yeah, everybody is excited about that.
They shouldn't be, because Squadron 42 is not looking good at all. I could not care less about Squadron 42. It looks pretty shitty. In terms of single-player game, you have a handful of games that are going to be much better. The idea of how much they actually got with dialogue, with scripts, with stories, it doesn't look very nice, at least the way I see it. Maybe someone loves what they saw of the trailers, but for me, it's about the PU. And I used to be the guy that said, I don't want this to never end. I don't want this to ever end, because I still thought, especially at first, I thought that they were constantly making new stuff, making new content. So yeah, never end. Keep on making things great. Keep on adding things, new systems, new things. That as time went by, you realize that that's not what they're doing. They're not adding new things. They're not making new systems. Not with any kind of reasonable time frame. They're not. I mean, Pyro is a fucking joke. That's nowhere near close to be done. It's copy pasting the same starting location 4 times. Are you kidding me? That's what they will release. I'm betting on it right now. You will not see 4 different starting locations, which you should, because that's what you have in Stanton. Area 18, New Babbage, Lorville, and Horizon. There are 4 different starting locations, right? Those different starting locations should be different. They don't even do that for Pyro. They copy paste the same station 4 times or 5, I don't even know how many, and give it a different name. It is the laziest shit you could think of, and that's what they will go with. They will not spend anything, and that's the biggest problem. If I had seen that over the years we had new content, I would not have a single complaint about Star Citizen. I would just love everything about it, right? But we're not seeing that, and that's a big issue. And what we see they change for the worse, which is even more concerning.
I think the people that are complaining about it not releasing are fundamentally misunderstanding what a release is.
The people that say that this game isn't released are either talking about the campaign mode or don't know what they're talking about. If they're talking about the campaign mode, it's true. The campaign mode isn't released. Mm-hmm. If they're saying this game doesn't exist, there's 5,000 people playing it right now.
Right. Well, that's even 5,000 people watching, right? If you're talking about Twitch, right? There
That's
could be
watching,
even more people. Yeah.
But there's like a whole more than 5,000 playing, like, active.
Mm-hmm. So
it's way more than that. But I mean, most of these people watching it are probably playing it too.
So yeah, it's probably
not exactly
probably
right now.
Yeah, it's not a 1-to-1, but it's somewhere around there. Yeah, I get it. So if you were like, obviously you talked about this for a while, what would you say to somebody who's on the fence or skeptical about Star Citizen as somebody who's put a crazy amount of hours into it?
Stay away from me. Go away. I don't want you here, Normie. I don't want your complaining. I don't want you here. I don't want you here. Get out of here, Normie. I don't want you to
Normie, what a fucking loser. Sounds like a grown-ass man. Normie, what are you? You think you're fucking what? Special? Normie. Jesus Christ. Anyway, I thought there were like several points. The man is a complete idiot, but Asmongold is a pretty clever dude himself, and he brought up a few interesting points, fortunately, that I think are worth going through. But it is what it is. If it really pisses you off, this is not for you. Definitely not for you. If you are okay with things being as broken as they are, as buggy as they are, sure. Personally, especially since 3.23, at least for me, it is this paper thin. The point in which it's almost not worth it anymore. But I still have hope that they will, especially the master mode thing, they reconsider that. Hopefully they will do more content. We'll see. But I'm a patient guy. I will keep on pointing out the bullshit because I don't know how to be any other way. I cannot just be a dumbass like this guy he's talking with, get away, go away, Normie. We're super special here with my org. And my org, he fly around. See you next time, guys. Take care.